Hey, what is up, mortals? It's Nier Ven here, and welcome to part 0 of What If Naruto characters had mobile suits. Just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. And so, we begin. It was 1 millennia ago when a fleet of highly advanced spacecrafts had arrived on Earth's orbit, with one woman sent down with a singular mission to plant a god tree, and to feed it so that it may grow. That woman was Kaguya Orotsuki. She landed on the Earth, within a snow-white mobile suit free of markings, within the land of ancestors, where she came into contact with the land's emperor, Tenji. After she planted a god tree seed, they fell in love, but their love could not survive the brewing conflict between the land of ancestors and the land of that which resulted in Tenji's demise, and Kaguya's rising to being the sole ruler of all the lands. Eventually, Kaguya gave birth to 2 sons, Hagoromo and Hamura, the first 2 individuals born with chakra, and the first 2 of the Earthborn to receive custom mobile suits, as Kaguya had taken ownership of the fleet that orbited Earth after fatally wounding Ishiki Otsutsuki. As Kaguya's power grew, her heart became colder. She began to treat the people of the land as if they were lower than dirt, putting them to work day and night within the now terrestrial mobile suit factories, producing an army that had white Zetsus to enslave the world beyond the stars. As her mother descended further and further into madness, Hagoromo and Hamura hatched a plan to stop their mother, which resulted in an epic battle between them, during one of the Ten Tails Gundam's rampages through the lands and villages. "Why, my sons? Why would you betray me like this?" Kaguya asks as tears streamed down her face, only hidden by the chassis of her Tenji Mark I, named after her late lover. "Believe me, mother, this is the last thing either of us wanted. But it has to be done," Hagoromo says before he begins firing photon shurikens at his mother, while Hamura rushed her Ten Tails Gundam in his Phantom Mark I. "You children know nothing. These humans are nothing but tools for peace, and I plan on creating my peace with or without you, my sons," Kaguya says, for stopping all of Hagoromo's photon shuriken and blasting Hamura back with an energy blast, damaging the mobile suit's armor plating. "What is this? The symbol?" Kaguya asks as her mobile suit begins to lock up. "It's a seal, mother. It will trap you somewhere far from here, so that your plan will never come to fruition," Hamura said as his mobile suit began performing the sealing jutsu's hand signs. "I will be your prison, mother, and all I can hope is that you'll forgive us," Hagoromo said, as his suit dons the sealing jutsu's symbol, and the suit's cockpit opened to show Hagoromo doing the same signs as his brother. After the final hand sign was made, Kaguya's Gundam and her body were absorbed by Hagoromo until all that remained were the 2 brothers. Or so they thought. During the battle's commotion, a slender jet-black figure entered the nearby forest, and his name was Black Zetsu. Eventually, the Otsutsuki brothers got to work repairing the damage that their mother had caused, with Hamura leaving for the moon to prepare for the unlikely chance that Kaguya would return, and Hagoromo staying on Earth to teach the humans about chakra and the mobile suits that Guardians pilot, eventually giving the humans access to chakra, and eventually the mobile suits. In his more advanced years, Hagoromo used the creation of all things technique to separate the Ten Tails chakra into 9 different tailed beasts, and commissioned Gundam units for each of them, so that if Kaguya would return, they would have 9 guardians capable of defeating her, since he and his brother were no longer in any shape to fight. As Hagoromo lay dying in his bed, surrounded by his 2 sons, Asura and Indra, he bestowed the role of his successor to Asura. This was the last straw for Indra. "You should have been the successor, Indra. You're Hagoromo's eldest son. How could he disrespect you like this? Asura, he must have done something to change your father's mind. How else could he have obtained what's rightfully yours?" This voice, those words, led Indra to wage war on his brother for the title of successor. Even though the battle eventually ended, it seemed to have a habit of repeating itself, with one instance being the battle between Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha. Madara and Hashirama met as young men, and got to know each other throughout the years, and on the battlefield as the war between the Senju and Uchiha raged on, neither side really gaining the edge over the other. The war concluded with the deaths of Kawarama and Itama, which led to the creation of the new shinobi pilot system, and the establishment of Konohagakure. Hashirama was eventually elected leader of the village, which led to Madara leaving the village, and only returned for a string of attacks on the village for one last duel with Hashirama. But Madara came with a surprise: the Kurama Gundam, and Kurama himself somehow under his control. Even though the fate of the village was on the line, Hashirama tried to reach out to Madara. "Don't do this, Madara! It doesn't have to end this way!" Hashirama says, while doing battle with the Gundam and the tailed beast.
"That's what you never understood. It was always going to end this way, Hashirama!"
Madara bellows as the Gundam and tailed beast slam onto Hashirama's Kagemika. The battle concluded with Madara being defeated, and the Kurama Gundam being sealed within the mountain range that bears Hokage's faces. Along with that, a secondary precaution was taken in the form of Mito Uzumaki, becoming Kurama's Jinchuriki, which would prevent anyone besides Mito from being able to control or pilot the Kurama Gundam. Once again, the ninja villages experienced peace, though this peace was interrupted again after the assassination attempt of Hashirama by Kakuzu, though it was ultimately unsuccessful. In the aftermath of the assassination attempt, Hashirama convened a Kage summit in order to distribute the other tailed beasts to the other villages in order to ease tensions among the villages, as a good sign of faith and to prevent further conflicts through the fear of mutually assured destruction. "Thank you all for coming. I come here not as a fellow shinobi, not an enemy. I wish to share the tailed beasts and Gundams with the people, so that we may experience some form of peace in the world of shinobi. If you all agree, say aye." "Aye!" The other three Kage responded in unison. The unanimous vote, the tailed beasts were sent to the various hidden villages. While there was a sense of unrest, peace again fell upon the hidden ninja villages. Decades later, the fourth Hokage's wife, Kushina Uzumaki, was designated as Kurama's Jinchuriki, though this became a problem some time later when she fell pregnant, as it was the only time where the seal would be weak enough to break and release Kurama and possibly send the Gundam into a frenzy. So precautions were taken to maintain the seal. Minato Namikaze stood guard over his wife, along with several members of the Anbu Black Ops, with each of their Yureis being equipped with the best weaponry that the village had, and Minato would pilot his Inazuma. After arriving at the hidden cave where the birth would take place, Minato disembarked his Inazuma and went straight to his wife's bed. "Kushina, is everything all right?" Minato asked. A look of worry formed on his face.
"I'm fine, Minato. Though, it seems our child will be a fighter,"
Kushina says with a small chuckle as the baby kicks from within her belly. As the night grew darker, the cave began to echo as the delivery entered its final stages. After one last push, a small blonde infant was visible in the hands of the midwife.
"Lord Hokage, it's a..."
Those were the midwife's last words before she collapsed with a shuriken in her back. Minato jumps to his feet, kunai in hand, as a masked man stood.
"Minato Namikaze, choose your wife or child. You will not save both,"
the masked man said with a deep voice amplified by the cave.
"Minato, save our child!"
Kushina yells. Minato then rushes the masked man before grabbing the infant Naruto and heading straight for his Inazuma, placing Naruto in the cockpit before returning to retrieve Kushina. As he returns to his wife's side, he finds her unconscious, without her Jinchuriki seal. After placing Kushina in the cockpit, some chatter began to crackle over the Inazuma's radio.
"Mayday! Mayday! Village under attack! It's the nine-tailed fox!"
The radio operator yells over the radio before cutting to static. The Inazuma teleports to a secluded field somewhere outside of the village and away from the fighting, and drops off Naruto and Kushina. Minato then directed his attention towards Kurama. Before Minato could reach the fox, an unidentified jet-black mobile suit appeared in front of him out of nowhere.
"Ah, if it isn't the fourth Hokage. Not only will I have the pleasure of destroying the Konoha village, but I will be the one who gets the honor of slaying the fourth Hokage. Not a chance! You'll pay for the destruction you've caused!"
Battle only lasted moments, with each side moving faster than the eye could see, with each mobile suit receiving as many blows as they took. Minato's Inazuma tried to land one last blow before the masked man's suit disappeared. With Minato's suit severely damaged, and his own body just as damaged as his suit, he used some of his suit's remaining power to return Kushina and Naruto. After he departed his suit and joined his wife and newborn child, with some of his suit covered in blood. I'm sorry, Kushina. I should have never left you alone.
It's all right, Minato. Our son is safe. It's all that matters.
The nine-tailed fox is still rampaging. I don't think that Inazuma has the integrity to take on the behemoth, and your seal is broken. I can only think of one way to end this madness. I pray Naruto will forgive me. Minato then takes his son and begins applying the seal on his son, while activating the tailed beast sealing protocol, which causes Inazuma to begin performing the hand signs for the sealing jutsu, while facing the direction of Kurama's rampage. Once the final hand sign was performed, Kurama became trapped in an energy barrier from which he could not escape. The second beam pointed directly at the seal that was parked on the infant Naruto's stomach. A moment after the beam reached the seal, Kurama's body began breaking down as his energy prison began to shrink until Kurama was gone, leaving only a crater and the path of death and destruction behind it. Good. The village is... Minato says, quietly, before collapsing as a combination of blood loss and chakra exhaustion, and passing away soon after. After battlefield calmed down, a young Kakashi Hatake appeared in the battlefield, and saw his dead sensei, his wife, and blonde infant in a patch of grass. Lady Uzumaki, are you hurt? Kakashi asks as he rushes over to her, with a hand on the handle of his blade.
No, Kakashi. I'm fine.
Kushina says before falling into tears as her infant son lays in her arms asleep, unaware of the heavy weight that had been placed on his shoulders. 10 years later, Kushina still lives in the home she and Minato hoped to raise their child, with her son Naruto, and every day felt a sting of grief as the son she cherished is a spitting image of her lost love. Konoha village stands proud of their fallen hero, but is less charitable to his family. Kushina is looked upon with a mixture of sympathy and pity, as the widow of the fourth Hokage. But that sympathy did not extend to the fourth Hokage's son. Despite his father's noble sacrifice, the villagers look at Naruto with disdain and hatred. To them it was his fault that their hero had fallen, and would gossip about whether or not the boy was being controlled by the nine-tailed fox. Perhaps the boy had inherited his mother's legendary temper and would release the beast during a temper tantrum, or some other similar event. His classmates tolerated him, always being told to walk on eggshells around him, because he is the fourth Hokage's son. But then... My name is Naruto Uzumaki, son of the fourth Hokage, and one day I will become Hokage! Nothing is going to stop me, and you losers are just going to have to deal with it! Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. Hope you enjoyed it. There's a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we got a primary channel called We the Celestials. We the Celestials is what we do here already, but their content centered around the crazy world and lore of My Hero Academia. So please check us out over there if you're feeling in the mood for a roller coaster of quirky content. We also have another relative to our channel, Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series, guaranteed. I'd like to let you all know on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. If you're perhaps interested in what we do here at WTC, then I would like to extend out an invitation to join our team. The only caveat being that we only accept members 16 or older to join our crew. You can find us on our Discord, which you can locate on the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits. All you gotta do is hit up the recruitment server and sign up for whatever category of work fulfills your interest. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it for us for today's video, so thank you all for watching and have a great day.